My name is John Feland.
Start over again.
Okay. My name is John Feland. That's Johnfeland. And I am the founder and CEO of Argus Insights. Okay. Where to begin? So, what we do is we measure consumer behaviors in a way that tends to be very predictive of where the market's going. And the reason we do what we do, and we do it the way that we do, is in a past life, I used to be very involved in the technology space from the standpoint of trying to get people to use multi-touch touchscreens. And you would think after the iPhone was launched, that would be the easiest thing in the world to do. Until you sit across the table from people at Nokia and have them say, no, Apple's not a threat. What? Well, the Gartner report says it's not going to make it into the market. Forrester is quoted on the record as saying that they think the iPhone is a feature phone, not a smartphone, because it can't do all these things. But have you talked to consumers? Oh, no. We've asked our customers and they don't like it. And so what you ran into was a situation where you had classic disruptive innovation, but not from technology, it was experience. The technology separated out for the iPhone wasn't that amazing, but it's how Apple brought it together to form a new experience that changed the way we all use devices today. I knew there had to be a better way. And so I went to some research that Stanford had done, connecting good design to good business. They created a set of metrics. And one particular metric was very interesting. They had this notion that they called social capital. It's trying to measure the strength of the relationship between people and their devices or products. And the key to that metric at the time was the use of, and this was 2004 timeframe, before Facebook took off, before Twitter, before even people talked about social media. The currency of this metric was online reviews. This metric was using reviews from places like Amazon, etc., to understand what people loved and hated about their products. Because we love it. We name our cars, sometimes we name our pets more than we name our kids. Who knows what we do with all these things. But we also have these kind of relationships with our devices. And the Stanford research showed that this metric of measuring the relationship was a leading indicator of revenue, a leading indicator of sales across multiple market segments. So we took that off the shelf and said, wait a minute, I wonder if we could have helped Nokia have evidence to make a better decision about how to compete with Apple if they'd had this data. So we pulled it out of the shelf, tested it out, and actually what we found is metrics based on this still work. Not only does it work, we've actually beat Wall Street estimates on iPhone sales 10 of the last 12 quarters. Because of how we listen to consumers and pull that data together. Now, and we've used this to see not only when Apple's winning, but also when they're losing. When the iPhone 5S and 5C were launched last year, we said, okay, 5S is good, but we're seeing a really slow start on the 5C. This is not a good launch. Actually, the worst launch Apple's ever had for an iPhone. 1 month later, Tim Cook says, you know what? We're cutting production of the 5C. It's not selling as well as we had thought. We knew a month ahead because of how we listened to the marketplace. So what about this year? What about the 6? Bigger? Better? Is plus that much more plus of iPhone 6? Especially after all the discussions around Bingate and things of that sort? We figured that out. So what we found, because we also track not only the ratings and review data, but also the social. So within the Twitter and the Facebook data, you have all this buzz about Bingate. Will it bend, to riff on will it blend? And the chatter was off the charts. Bugs, all these kinds of issues. But when we looked at the review data, where the iPhone 6 fell relative to the other products, best launch Apple's had in a while. Only the 5S has higher NPS scores than the new iPhone 6s. But the volume of conversation, especially around the new iPhone 6, not the huge screen, but the big screen, is higher than any phone that Apple's launched in the past 3 years. So contrary to all the social buzz, by looking at the ratings and review data, you see that Apple's trajectory for the iPhone 6, although people made a big deal that it wasn't necessarily all that, was fantastic. We're going to keep tracking that moving forward and letting people know what happens.